Hello and welcome to another Beer and Code. Thank you so much for joining in. Today we are going to be extending JDapper, and we will be extending JDapper to allow for the use of private fields in our serializable objects. So if you remember before, we only allowed public. Now we're going to support private. So, if you haven't seen or heard of JDapper before, you should probably check out my previous video where I implement it in the first place. I'm going to have a link over there, or maybe down there, or maybe up here, somewhere on the video. Click there, and that will take you to my previous JDapper video to get you all caught up. Also, today I'm drinking Founder's Imperial Stout, and this is the name implies, it's an Imperial Stout. It's very smoky and dark and chocolatey with lots of that roasted flavor. 10.5% alcohol, so hopefully I can do this in a few number of takes so I don't get too tipsy. But it is very good. If you have a chance, you should check out anything by Founders. All of their beer is fantastic. Moving on to the code. Like I said, we're going to be extending JDapper to allow for private members. Let's see what happens if I make these private right now. Well, I guess of course this won't compile. Let's get a getter for it. Alright, so now we have a getter, and I'm just going to run the code and we'll see what happens. Enter a population. Boom. All nulls. So, why are all of these things coming across as null? Why is country.getName null? Well, it's because if you look in our implementation, we call type.getFields. And what that does is that will return all of the public fields on that type. Now, we don't have any public fields anymore, so it's returning an array of length 0. So when we loop through it here, we don't actually have any fields according to the current code, so it doesn't set any information into our objects. So in order to fix that, we have to be able to get our private fields. Luckily, reflection makes that easy. All you have to do is type get declared fields. So this is going to return all of the fields that this class declared, whether they be public, private, protected, and whatnot. So now we're going to get all of the fields. So when we loop through here and call set, it should work. Well, I'm going to tell you ahead of time it does not quite, but let's look at it and see why. As predicted, let's look at the error message. JDapper cannot access a member of class country with modifiers private. So what that's telling us is right here when you call set, it's basically saying I'm not allowed to set data into a private member. Well, how can we fix that? Luckily, reflection gives us that option. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through those fields and call field dot set accessible true. And essentially what this is saying is it's saying I give you explicit permission, reflection, to set data into this field. So when I loop through them down here, we are able to actually set the data. So let me prove that one more time by running it, entering in a population, and there we go. We have the same results as we had previously. All of the names are coming through and being serialized correctly. So hopefully you learned a little bit about reflection today, learned a little bit about getting private fields on our objects, and how reflection handles setting data into private fields. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I had a really good time putting this together and extending JDapper a little bit further. If you enjoyed learning with me and would like to see more, please like and subscribe. Also, let me know anything that you may want to see added to JDapper in the future. So once again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and cheers. This is probably my favorite so far.